Hello, welcome to the Long Island Weather Update and Outlook on March 10th. Becoming very windy and chilly out there. We did have some showers around some parts of our area. It never actually rained again here in Nassau, but some areas got a little more rain today with some of those instability showers and some snow off to the north, but not really any flakes to see here. You can see plenty of clouds around right now across our area. And let's get to the rainfall totals from the last storm that we have. So, again, this is the most recent storm. Again, Fairfield County getting in Connecticut, getting it over an inch. Same thing with Middlesex County, New Haven County. A lot of those coastal Connecticut areas got a lot of rain again. 2.51. Salem, I'm not really gonna. And look at Bergen County too. Fair Lawn, 2.86 inches. Montclair, Essex, and Essex County, 2.72 inches. I'm going to read over all these again. Passaic, Little Falls, 2.78 inches. There are a lot of rivers in these areas. They're going to have to check, see if they're flooding or not. Union County in New Jersey, Springfield, 1.96. In the city, Fordham, 1.95. Brooklyn, 2.44 being reported there. Nassau County, North Massapequa, 2.48. Levittown, 2.29 inches. Let's see if we have one for Belmore, 1.80. Carl Place, 1.68. So 1.5 to 2.5 inches, depending on where you were. And it looks like that southeast part of Nassau got in on some of the heavier rain. Let's look at some of these other. In the Hudson Valley, 1.5 inches. In Queens, Howard Beach, 2.08 inches. Rockland County, Pomona, 2.12 inches. Suffolk County, Stony Brook, 2.38 inches. And Deer Park, 2.31 inches of rain reported there as well. So lots and lots and lots of rain. Center Reach, 2.01 inches of rain. East Setauket, 1.6 inches of rain. Islip, 1.33 inches of rain. And in Westchester, Hastings-on-Hudson, 2.06 inches of rain reported. White Plains, 1.81. So, yeah, a lot of rain out there. Again, I mean, it's absolutely crazy the amount of rain we've been seeing this month. Absolutely nuts. And what do we have for Islip again? Well, we'll see it when we show the map of the rainfall totals. But now we go from the rain to the strong winds. We got a wind advisory that will be in effect through late tomorrow night. And you can still see actually a little bit of precipitation here on the radar rotating around this cyclonic flow here. That could be snow, actually. Let's look at the AccuWeather thing here, and it's snow here. So, yeah, that is snow upstate. So they are getting some snow upstate. But for us, we just saw mainly rain showers today. And again, this is the storm here on the satellite. Let's pull this out a little bit to the CONUS view so you get an idea here of the storm that we have. Big, look at that moisture plume right there that you see. So you can clearly see the connection to the Pacific. You can follow it all the way right into the storm. Look at that. It's pretty impressive. That Pacific subtropical jet there energizing this storm for sure. Looking at our current conditions, all right, so across the country we got some red flag warnings. Not a whole lot going on. Some cold weather warnings in the southeast. And upstate, though, look at this. We got some winter storm warnings upstate for the snowfall that they're getting. Yeah. So they're getting some winter. Right now, though, it's getting quite chilly out there. 38 degrees, 37 at Islip. Temperatures have come down quite a bit. Looking at Islip here, 37 degrees. And still some light rain being reported. Apparently, they're reporting some light rain. So we still have some light rain showers around tonight, though luckily, like I said, they haven't hit us here in Nassau County. You can see some wind gusts up 35 miles an hour at JFK, 42 at Stony Brook, so these winds are going to pick up. We got a gale warning in effect as well. Let's look at the highs and the lows for today. So highs across the area, we got up into the mid-50s, generally speaking, and lows, not a huge range here. Lows are probably the current temperatures, which are in the upper 30s. It's all about the rainfall that we had, so let's go take a look at that. Whoops. That's what I meant to do. So let's look at the rainfall and take a look and see how much rain we've gotten so far. So this will give us the 36 hours should be it. So you'll see here, look at all this. So over 2 inches of rain, 1.56 at Islip, a little less out east, 1.14. In the Hudson Valley, we've got over 2 inches in Hudson Valley, northern New Jersey, 1.5 inches here. And in the coastal New Jersey areas like Ocean County, around an inch. They seem to have gotten a little bit less in terms of rainfall than we did, but still quite a bit of rain out there. Let's see if there are any, and there are some flood warnings for some of these rivers I see here being reported. So we're going to go now look at the rivers and lakes, take a look at that. And let's see what we got. So yes, we have some rivers in flood stage. In fact, we even have some of our bays in flood stage too. There was some flooding on the South Shore as well from the storm, and reported as well on the bays as well. We also have flooding along Barnegat Bay. Wow, so there is some coastal flooding here being reported as well at some points on the South Shore. Yep, we have coastal flooding, and then if you look inland at the Passaic River, yep, we've got a minor flood stage being reported there. Minor flood stage there. Some of the rivers in Connecticut also showing Housatonic minor flood stage, and a major flood stage, a moderate flood stage in westerly Rhode Island there showing. So yeah, we got a lot of flooding going on, and if you looked at the news today, there was definitely some flooding on the streets along the South Shore and some beach erosion again from this past storm that we had. So let's look at our climate statistics for the day for Islip. And Islip got, again, we're up to 5.46 inches of rain this month. This isn't even all the rain. Well, yeah, that is all the rain. So 5.46 inches of rain, well above what we're supposed to see this month. High 52, low 43, still 10 degrees above normal for the day at Islip. Central Park showing 51, high 51, a low of 43, and they were 6 degrees above normal for the day. So now we get to deal with the wind and the tightening pressure gradient as this storm pulls away. Looking at the weather map, you'll see there's the storm, and here's this high pressure that's building in. We're going to have some pretty tight isobars between the two storms, and you can see that right here on the GFS model, and you'll see those tight isobars. They'll even tighten up later tonight and tomorrow, which means we can have that wind advisory in effect. And then they lessen a little bit on Tuesday, but it's still going to be breezy. But the good news is, you see, for much of this week, there isn't much in the way of rain. And that's some good news. We won't have the next chance of rain until we get toward the weekend. But these systems look much smaller than what we've been dealing with previously. All right. So let's talk about the wind first of all, because we have these tight isobars here that you see here that we're going to be dealing with. So let's first go to the northeast here and look at the HRRR model, and we do have the 0Z run in for that. And you see just how tight these isobars are. They're very, very tight, and you'll still see it still trying to show some instability stuff maybe moving over Long Island tomorrow, but very, very tight isobars, which means a lot of wind. And even on Tuesday, it's going to still be on the breezy side, or not as windy as it was. But these isobars are still pretty close because we still have the storm over here in the Gulf of Alaska. Not Gulf of Alaska, Gulf of Maine, and then the high over the southeast. So that's going to create a big pressure gradient, and that's why we're seeing these winds. Looking at your sky conditions for tomorrow, just taking a look at some soundings here. It looks like it is showing that we will have a better amount of sunshine off to the south and the west. The more north and east you go, the closer these two lines are together, the less sunshine you'll have. But I still think we'll see a lot more sunshine than today, which we didn't really see much. We saw a little in the morning, and that was it. So let's look at our dew points and wind flow going through tomorrow here. And you'll see here we got those northwest winds ripping through. The air is very dry. That should dry out the ground, at least from all the rain, or at least help dry it out. And then you'll see as we get to Tuesday, the winds become a little more westerly, and that's going to bring in more warmth into the picture. The temperatures tonight, we're going to be dropping into the probably around the freezing mark, low to mid 30s across much of the area by morning, and then tomorrow highs, depending on where you are, Long Island is going to tend to be a little bit cooler. Temperatures probably going to be in the mid 40s on the east end, and then toward around 50 in New Jersey. So figure mid to upper 40s for much of Long Island. Then tomorrow night, we won't be as cold. You'll see it's dropping. We're going to stay above freezing, mid-30s. And then Tuesday, we warm up nicely, particularly over New Jersey, where it could be near 60 and mid-50s on Long Island for Tuesday, maybe upper 50s. So let's look at the GFS, and let's see how the GFS is doing with the high temperatures as well. See, because sometimes there's a bit of a difference. These, GFS is trending a little bit warmer than the HRRR. It's saying near 60 for Long Island. With that westerly wind, we could be near 60 on Tuesday. So we have a warm week up ahead. Show you, look at that. Even Wednesday gets even warmer. How about mid-60s on Wednesday? And it's not showing that there's going to be much of a sea breeze. Here we are Thursday, mid-60s again. So it's going to be a very warm week. So we're going to have 3 days of really warm weather. Friday, again, well into the 60s. Couldn't even rule out a 70-degree reading. And then as we get toward the weekend, that's when the cooler air starts to build back into the picture again. Looking at dew points and wind flow here on the GFS, you'll note, let's see if we have sea breezes here. Wednesday, just a general west wind, maybe a weak sea breeze on the south shore, but we've got a westerly flow most of these days. Thursday, there might be a little more of a sea breeze. And then Friday, we don't have that sea breeze. So let's now go into the sky conditions forecast for tomorrow, which is going to be a little tricky. GFS is showing more in the way of clouds. We'll have high clouds on Tuesday, Wednesday, and so we'll have some clouds around some of these days. You're not seeing anything that's where it's going to be completely clear. Let's look at the RGEM, and it'll give us somewhat of a better idea of what's going to happen. So here's the RGEM, and going into tomorrow, you'll see we start off with clouds in the morning, but then they tend to thin out toward the afternoon, especially if you're in New Jersey, where it actually might go mostly sunny. And then for Tuesday, we'll have this area of high and mid-level clouds kind of moving over us, which is going to keep some clouds around. And then Wednesday, we'll have some more of that, but there'll be sun mixed with it. So it'll be there'll be a decent amount of sunshine this week. It definitely won't be gloomy like it has been. So let's go and talk about the longer range now. Back to the GFS again, and back to the North American view, and look at the jet stream here as we head into this week here. And you'll see here, you see things look a little bit different in the Pacific. We're finally starting to see some ridging over Alaska, and that is going to help to hopefully bring some colder weather into the picture as we get toward the end of the month. You see there are a couple of troughs there showing up. And that's going to help bring in, hopefully, some colder air into the picture. Let's go to the 500. So there's the storm that we just dealt with, ridging this week. And then another trough comes in around the 19th. And you can see it's got a little more of a northwesterly flow from the Arctic, so there could be some colder air attached with that. And we do see the ridging over Alaska, so this is going to tend to be bringing colder weather as we get toward the latter part of the month. We'll just see if the euro, what the euro looks like in comparison. I'm just using the operational right now. I know they have an AIFS. We'll eventually start looking at that. Euro looks a little bit different now. Euro digs that trough much deeper as we get toward next week. So there is a bit of a disagreement in the long range. But either way, it looks like it's going to get colder around here. So when we go and we look at our temperature anomaly chart, which I'll do, and just stick with the GFS on this, you'll see here that actually tomorrow will be close to normal, maybe a little bit above, but then this week we're going to be way above normal. But then here comes the colder air around, again, right around that first day of spring. You can see we're going to be below normal. We're going to actually have some below normal weather, and it's even trying to bring in some really cold air toward the end of the picture here. This looks like Arctic air, perhaps, or whatever. This could be significantly below normal as we get toward the latter part of March. And that could mean highs only in like maybe the 30s, perhaps, on a day or two, maybe. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's go now to the weather, surface weather here, features. And again, we're dry, but we have this next system that we'll have to watch for the weekend. But they look fairly, they don't really look like as crazy as the past couple of storms as far as the amount of precipitation go. And then a high pressure builds in that, high cold pressure. And then this is going to be, now, of course, it brings the storm right up the East Coast and doesn't bring us snow. But behind that storm, it could pull down some very cold air. And that's what we're going to have to watch for. If we look at the long range here, you'll see that cold air, just to give you a preview of the kind of cold air we could wind up getting into. Highs only in the low 40s perhaps on some of these days, maybe even 30s if it's colder than that. Of course, this is way in the long range, but we are seeing, here we go, looking at next Tuesday, it looks like highs are going to struggle to reach the low 40s. So we will have some cold days next week. So let's lastly leave it the Climate Prediction Center when they agree. 8 to 14 day has below normal temperatures in the east and above normal in the west. The ridge goes to the west, the trough goes to the east. Precipitation is near normal in the 8 to 14 day. 6 to 10 day, though, we're still going to be above normal because of this week. But we will see, it's looking more and more likely that we're going to see a cool down as we get toward the end of this month. So let's lastly go over the winds tomorrow. We'll look at the Ventu Sky model for this and just visualize the kind of winds that we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. Again, they're going to be westerly winds, and they're going to be some gusts into the 40s. I don't think we'll get above 50, maybe in some coastal locations or some really wide areas, but it's going to be windy. The gusts are going to be into the 40s, and if we look at the sustained winds are going to be around 20 to 25 miles an hour. So tomorrow is going to be a windy day, and that's why we have that wind advisory in effect, again, through tomorrow evening probably. Wind advisory is going to be from 2 a.m. to 11 p.m. tomorrow. So that's going to wrap up this Long Island weather update. Have a good night.